It is my pleasure to introduce you to me, your disorder angel. You're probably wondering what is going on, and that's completely normal. So, welcome to bipolar. The initial diagnosis stages can be overwhelming and confusing, which is why I'm here to provide support and resources for managing your disorder. Now that we have the formalities out of the way, hi, I'm Britannica, your aforementioned disorder angel and seasoned bipolar. I'll give you the crash course. First documented during the 19th century by two French psychiatrists, bipolar disorder was coined as a type of cyclical or dual form insanity. But this wasn't the first time bipolar disorder had appeared in history. One of the earliest historical figures suspected to have bipolar appeared in the 1st century. Roman Emperor Nero. He compared himself to the gods, and godliness is one of the key symptoms of bipolar mania. Okay, fine. Some more relatable historical figures include people like Vincent van Gogh, who wrote on his deathbed that the sadness will last forever. Oh, that isn't a Van Gogh, that's a Monet, but close enough. So what is bipolar disorder? It is a mental condition defined by periods of intense, impulsive, uncontrollable behavior, manic episodes, and then the horribly suicidal, self-hatred filled depressive episodes. Now let's pause there for a second to commemorate all of our fallen manic business ideas. You thought I was gonna touch on people who took their own life. I was. Compared to the general population, bipolar individuals are 10 to 30 times more likely to commit suicide, which is no wonder why 1 in 5 bipolar lives end in suicide. Ooh, and all this results in a life expectancy 13 years younger than the general population. Did you know that around 90% of suicide cases occur in the mood disorder community? Bipolar is a lifelong condition that takes a toll on many people. On her suicide note, Virginia Woolf wrote, "I feel certain I am going mad again. I feel we can't go through another one of those terrible times." Similarly, composer Robert Schumann wrote, "I sometimes lack the courage to stay in this world." What I'm trying to say is that bipolar disorder is not an anomaly. In fact, you have just stepped into a long history of crazy. You're not alone. Today, there are over 46 million people worldwide that struggle with bipolar disorder. And those are just the people who can afford an official diagnosis. Privilege. So basically, in today's society, if you check any of the following boxes, wealthy, working, likely white, then there are several types of bipolar in which for you to choose. Bipolar 1 is unpredictable, full-blown manic and depressive episodes. Bipolar 2 is depression and hypomania, and it is also unpredictable. Cyclothymic can last years and is categorized by less severe episodes. And with rapid cycling, 4+ episodes occur within a year. Unfortunately, resources for mental health care are not as accessible as we'd like to think they are. Mental health awareness, mental health month, mental health days. What's next? Mental health parades? Wait a second, that might actually... So I saved mania for now because, well, that's what got you here in the first place. Let's unpack. So when you were manic, you probably endured fast talking, hypersexuality, overspending, and got into legal trouble. All 4, huh? Welcome to the club. But it was fun, right? Oh, this is not a trick question. It's actually fun. I'll be the first to admit it's a hoot. They call mania a roller coaster for a reason, and by my account, amusement parks are all the rage. Okay, that's not very responsible for me to say. You know, Russell Brand said that mania is like being out of control and not knowing how to cope. And not to mention, manic episodes are embarrassing. I'm telling you, the amount of guilt and shame I've experienced because of dumb shit I've done while I was manic. So I know you may have embarrassed yourself publicly, lost numbers of friends, and ruined your family's image of you, but trust. A depressive episode was expected. When you were manic, your brain functioned in overdrive while you operated off of a diet of no sleep and recreational drugs. So naturally, the period of feeling low and drained and exhausted in the aftermath of your manic episode, honey, that's called a depressive state. Examples of what I've seen from you just this past week alone. Lack of hygiene, lacking motivation in your passions and interests, extreme fear of judgment and criticism, and then of course those unwelcome and random flashbacks to mania. Oh yeah, and they don't tell you this when you're first diagnosed, but you've been through a lot. Look at me. Bipolar is linked heavily to genetics and interpersonal trauma. You know good and damn well what happened to you. You always knew something made you different, but you couldn't put your finger on it. So in order to fit in and get by, you masked your true personality and stifled yourself from expressing yourself creatively. You know you're creative. Get used to it. Bipolar people like us are known for being creative and thinking outside the box. Interpret that however you please, but face it, baby. You're an artiste. We emote deeply. We are sensitive souls, which is why we come across as intense and confident and capable of grandiose ideas. Yet in our strengths, as Sylvia Plath said, the worst enemy to our creativity is self-doubt. We are our own critics and opposition. Depressive episodes have the invisible power to demotivate us and draw us to, end one's life, which highlights my next introduction, medications. The meds most commonly prescribed for bipolar disorder are antidepressants, anticonvulsants or mood stabilizers, and antipsychotics. Yes, there are side effects to taking these medications, and some of the side effects I've experienced have included getting sleepy really early or gaining weight. Anyways, these medications will take weeks, 2 months, to take effect and kick in, which is why so many bipolar people give up on their meds when initially diagnosed. This creates a pattern of distrust between the mental health care team and the patient. Believe me, you do not want to end up in the psychiatric hospital again. So yes, you will need to take medication for the rest of your life. Realistically, medications are one of the only ways to consistently regulate your moods as a bipolar person. Optimistically though, treatment options evolve every day based on research, so who knows how long this medicine shit will last. But for now, have a psychiatry appointment with your medication provider at least once a month to check in. If you feel an episode coming on, definitely speak with your provider to adjust medications and dosages. Force yourself to sleep and limit caffeine intake. And then, probably most importantly, tell someone in your support network that you trust so they can hold you accountable. Oh, and if you need immediate mental health care, do not call the police. No, you call emergency medical services. For your resource knowledge, please find support group links for bipolar people in the description below. You'll thank me later.